Hey guys, what's up? It's Lainey, and today I'm doing my January wrap-up, my currently reading, and my February TBR. It's still January right now as I'm filming this, but I don't know how much I'm going to be reading over the next couple days, and if I end up finishing another book, then you'll just see it in the next reading video. I did have a monthly goal for books I wanted to read. I wanted to read a total of 3 books, and so far I have read 4. So the first book I read this month was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This was a 5-star rating for me. I wrote a very detailed review for it on Goodreads that I will link down below. I read this because of the hype. I didn't read a lot of YA last year. I actually read a lot of romance. It was like an ungodly, embarrassing amount of romance last year. Just because I was writing a YA fantasy, I wasn't like in the mood to read any YA fantasy. Emerging from the romance haze, I wanted to pick up a YA fantasy, but I didn't know which one to pick up. During this time, everybody was talking about The Cruel Prince. I didn't see one negative review on any of my Goodreads emails that I was getting from friends reviewing it. So I decided to read it. I buddy read this with my friend Riley from Riley Marie, and we absolutely loved it. If you don't know what The Cruel Prince is about, it's about this young woman named Jude who has been living in Fairy for the past 10 years with her 2 siblings, her 2 sisters. They're living under the roof of a man who was their mother's lover. He's a fae. He's the fae, so he murdered her parents and brought them to Fairy with him to raise them as his own. And Jude wants to be fully immersed into the fairy lifestyle, but since she is human, she's often looked down upon and made fun of, but she wants to find her place in Fairy by becoming a knight. When the knighthood kind of falls through, she ends up getting more twisted up in espionage and romance and political warfare, and it's just like really cool. This is the first Holly Black book I read, and I'm very excited I started with this one because I've heard such polarizing reviews of her other works. It's often the writing's great, but the execution misses sometimes. This is not the case with this one. This was like perfect from beginning to end. I loved Jude. Jude actually reminded me, and it's probably because I'm currently watching The Vampire Diaries, but Jude reminded me of Catherine in a lot of ways, and I really liked that Jude wasn't such a cookie cutter YA heroine. She had a lot of depth to her, a lot of flaws, and she could be selfish. And I like when YA heroines can be selfish. They're looking out for themselves. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Do I recommend this book? Yes, I do. Then I decided to get Audible. I never have used my free trial, so I decided to do it. I wanted to try to get back into audiobooks because I've never been able to listen to audiobooks in the past. My brain just can't do it that way. I also was able to do a free trial of their romance package, which is unlimited listening to any of their romance books under this certain romance collection. They have a lot of actually great options. So I ended up picking up Bully by Penelope Douglas. I read Corrupt from her last year, and I really enjoyed that book. I always see a lot of reviews for Bully, and they're really high. I rated this one a 3 out of 5. I think I probably would have rated it more if I was younger, more in high school, because this does take place in high school. It's about this like girl and a boy who they were neighbors when they were growing up, and they're like best of friends. And then after one summer, when the boy comes back from spending the summer in his father's care, he ends up being like a total dick to her. He's like ends up bullying her, and after she gets back from studying abroad for a year, her junior year, so she comes back her senior year, and things just like happen. So it's like definitely romance driven, obviously. Definitely hate to love, which I really enjoyed. Based on the title, it's called Bully, so yes, he is really bullying her throughout most of the book. So yeah, rated 3 out of 5. I still really enjoyed it. I think 3 out of 5s often get bad raps, but I liked it. I really liked it. There was petty girlfriend drama, and I don't like that. But I know this series, there's like more books in the series, so I might pick them up. I know they're companions, so maybe not. I don't know. Next book I listened to on Audible was Pennies by Pepper Winters. Pepper Winters is a very popular dark romance author. I read her first series, Monsters Duet or something, Monsters Trilogy. The first one is Tears of Tess, and I read that book when I was still in college, and I really liked it. And I mean, when I say dark romance, it definitely has trigger warnings for pretty much everything you can imagine, so don't read if that makes you uncomfortable. Pennies, though, I did not like at all. I rated this one a 2 out of 5, and this was really disappointing because I really like Pepper Winters' writing. I just felt like this book was like unnecessary. It was very long. Audiobook was 9 hours long. I feel like that whole book could have been narrowed down to maybe 2 hours and put that into probably the next book, which has a lot more action in it, I think. I don't want to continue the series, but I kind of do because I think the second book would be way better than the first book. There was a lot of repetition. I thought a lot of the chapters could have been cut. They kept repeating things throughout the entire book, and I think the characters were all right, but I wasn't like in love with them. I think what saved this book for me was actually the narration. I thought the narration was really good. The guy narrator had, you know, Smolder, and the female narrator sounded like Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones, so then that's all I was picturing as I was reading. I was picturing Daenerys. I was disappointed. Don't know if I'm continuing or not, so yeah. The next romance book I picked up to listen to was Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Is this video from 2013? I don't know. This book was the biggest book that was being talked about on like pretty much everybody's channels when I first started BookTube back in 2013, and I never ended up reading them, but I was thinking alien romance, I'm kind of in the mood for that, so that's why I picked it up. I rated it a 3 out of 5. It was completely enjoyable. Probably would have rated it higher if I was, again, younger, and I still very much enjoyed it. I was like totally addicted to it, and I was like listening to it like the entire day at work. If you don't know what Obsidian is about, this girl moves in to a new house and the boy next door is an alien, and it just kind of goes from there. Those were the 4 books that I have read in the month of January, but I am currently reading kind of a lot of books. So I am currently listening to the second book in the Luck series, the Onyx. I'm about halfway through. I do really like the direction the series is going. I'm also currently reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I have been reading this for the entire month of January. I'm not very far into it. I know like once they get to Hogwarts, it's gonna go way faster for me because right now it's before school started, so that it's always like the slower part. I'm also currently listening / reading 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is a reread for me. When I got the Audible free trial, I decided to pick up the audiobook of 6 of Crows because 1, I heard that it's like absolutely amazing, which it is, and 2, because I wanted to reread it. I haven't read Crooked Kingdom. I'm also intimidated to read that book, but I wanted to read 6 of Crows first before jumping into Crooked Kingdom because I think I'll enjoy it more. On my Kindle, I'm currently reading Contagion by Erin Bowman. This is an ARC. This comes out in July, and it is a space horror thriller, and I'm about 25% into it. It's really good. This is the first Erin Bowman book that I've read, and I've wanted to read her for a very long time. I just never have gotten around to it. But if you like the movies like Prometheus and Life and The Martian, those kind of movies, like those space movies where there's like horror involved in it, I definitely think this is gonna be a really good book in the future. I think a lot of people are gonna like this, and I'm really enjoying it so far. That's it for my currently reading, and then I have a little bit of a TBR for February. The first book I wanted to mention was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabla Tahir. This was in my books I wanted to read in 2018, and I want to insert at least one of them into my TBR for every month. This was the book I chose from that TBR list to read in February. Of course, the next book I'm going to be reading in February is going to be Immortal Rain by Morgan Rhodes, that I am so excited and also very sad that the Fallen Kingdom series has come to an end. This series has been a huge staple on my channel since 2014, and I'm just like really sad to see it end, but I'm excited. The last book I wanted to mention that's gonna be on my February TBR, Anatomy of a Story by John Truby. From what I've gathered, this is like the holy grail of storytelling in book form. I've been wanting to pick it up for the past 6 months, but I just haven't gotten around to it. This book is mentioned a lot in one of the video essayists on YouTube that I watch a lot for writing and storytelling, and he always mentions this book. So I've always wanted to pick it up, and then my critique partner Amanda was talking about it and how much it's very useful for like her current work in progress. So I'm like, okay, so I gotta get this. I'm very excited to read it and work through a lot of the exercises. I specifically wanted to get this for my rewrite of Sharp Hollows, which I'm starting in February. Even though I'm rewriting Sharp Hollows from the beginning, this is technically like my seventh draft of this book. So going into this, I really wanted to like nail it not on the first try because I know it doesn't happen, but I want to feel like I really accomplished something in this rewrite. And I know this book is really going to help me with the characters, the pacing, with storytelling, obviously, and the plot and everything. So I'm just very, very excited to dive into this to help with my rewrite of Sharp Hollows. That is it for my reading video of the month, my wrap up, my currently reading, and my TBR for the next month. Have you read any of these books? I would really like to know if you guys did. Let me know what you guys thought of them down below, and I will see you guys very soon. That really f***ing scared me. Bye.